Mom shoe.
Oh, thank you, Pooh. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Journey from Infertility. It's Lindsay. I hope you have had a better week. There has been some unrest in the country, and I just want to say that, my prayers go out to everybody who is going through anything this week, especially with all the protests, these deaths that's going on. My heart goes out to everybody in this situation. We got to do better as a people, and I hope that we can get a solution going one day, and hopefully the day is coming soon. I wanted to get into speaking about mental health issues, but specifically what I have been going through actually as a mom of two now. I am going through postpartum depression. So I did kind of want to talk about that because a lot of women don't tend to understand what's going on while they're in it. So they don't really identify that this is actually what's going on. So postpartum depression, it really means after childbirth, which is what postpartum is. Many women tend to get the baby blues, or they feel sad or empty within a few days after giving birth. But for many women, the baby blues goes away in about 3 to 5 days. If your baby blues tend not to go away, or you feel sad, hopeless, or empty for longer than 2 weeks, you may have postpartum depression. And that was my first inclination that something might be wrong with me, because I kept saying that I had the baby blues, but I never went and looked it up to see what or how long baby blues last. So it's probably about after week 3. And I kept saying, okay, this isn't normal. This doesn't feel right. Like, why am I always sad, or why am I always crying? Or, in the new mom stage, I'm a new mom of two. I getting less sleep. I'm tired all the time. I'm exhausted. Most days I walked around in autopilot because I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what was going on in the world. Like, I couldn't remember the last time I took a shower. I couldn't remember the last time I had fed the baby, or, it was simple things like that, to the point that everything made me cry. Everything made me upset. So I didn't know what was going on until I started looking the symptoms up. So, postpartum depression is a serious mental illness that involves the brain and affects your behavior and physical health. If you have depression, then sad, flat, or empty feelings don't go away and can interfere with your day-to-day life. You might feel unconnected to the baby, as if you're not the baby's mother, or you might not love or care for the baby. These feelings can be mild to severe, and mothers can also experience anxiety disorders during or after the pregnancy. Um, Depression is common after pregnancy, and 1 in 9 new mothers have postpartum depression, which, again, no clue. I've heard about it. It's like, though, that will never happen to me. But it took me actually going to my OB appointment for a follow-up for my doctor to be like, pretty much, okay, we need to talk about this, because this baby blues has been going on a little bit longer than what I thought, because she thought it was just the baby blues. And one day I was okay, and then I came back another time and I wasn't okay. So, how do you know if you have postpartum depression? Some normal changes after pregnancy can cause symptoms similar to those of depression. Many mothers feel overwhelmed when a new baby comes home. But if you have any of the following symptoms of depression for more than 2 weeks, I need you to call your doctor, your nurse, or your midwife. Feeling restless or moody, feeling sad, hopeless, or overwhelmed, crying a lot, having thoughts of hurting the baby, having thoughts of hurting yourself, not having any interest in the baby, not feeling connected to the baby, or feeling as if your baby is someone else's baby, having no energy or motivation, eating too little or too much, sleeping too little or too much, having trouble focusing or making decisions, having memory problems, feeling worthless, guilty, or like a bad mother, losing interest or pleasure in activities you used to enjoy, withdrawing from friends and family, having headaches, aches and pains, or stomach problems that don't go away. Some women don't tell anybody about their symptoms, and that's where a lot of us tend to go wrong. Sometimes new moms feel embarrassed, they feel ashamed or guilty about feeling depressed when they're supposed to be happy, especially happy because they have this new baby, they just created this life, and they don't want to seem as if they're being a bad mother because they feel the way that they feel. Any woman can become depressed during pregnancy or after having a baby. It doesn't mean you are a bad mom, and you and your baby don't have to suffer. So there is help. Your doctor can help you figure out whether your symptoms are caused by depression or something else. Again, a lot of things ticked off for me when I went to my doctor's office. They gave me this questionnaire, and it's a postpartum questionnaire. And I think it's a scale from like 1 to 20. And so the severe scale is like 14 to 20. And I think my scale that day when I talked to her was like a 17. So I literally had to leave her office, call and make an appointment, and make sure that I got seen like as soon as possible because she was really worried about me. Like my whole pregnancy, we had no problems. Um, and she believed that, again, that this was postpartum and this was not something, again, that I had experienced. And, things were good. And it was just so bad that I could not function. What can cause postpartum? Hormonal changes may trigger symptoms of postpartum depression. When you're pregnant, your levels of female hormones of estrogen and progesterone are the highest levels they'll ever be. In the first 24 hours after childbirth, your hormone levels quickly drop back to normal to pre-pregnancy levels. And researchers think that this sudden change in these levels may lead to depression. It's similar to hormone changes before a woman's period, but involves much more extreme swings in the hormone levels. Other feelings may contribute to postpartum. They can be tired after labor, tired from lack of sleep or broken sleep, overwhelmed with a new baby, doubts about their ability to be a good mother, stress from changes in work and home routines, an unrealistic need to be perfect, grief about the loss of who they were before having the baby, they feel less attractive, and a lack of free time. Again, a lot of those boxes ticked off for me, and that was a clear indication that I was suffering from postpartum. Are some women more at risk of postpartum depression? Saying yes. From this womenshealth.gov website, they do tell you that if you have a personal history of depression or bipolar disorder, have a family history of depression or bipolar disorder, you don't have support from family or friends, you were depressed during pregnancy, you had problems with a previous pregnancy or birth, have relationship or money problems, are younger than 20, have alcoholism, use illegal drugs, or have some other problem with drugs, have a baby with special needs, difficulty breastfeeding, or had an unplanned or an unwanted pregnancy. Those can be risk factors of you getting postpartum depression. Again, a lot of those boxes kind of ticked off for me. And again, you don't know until it happens. So if you have any of these symptoms and you feel like that you just can't focus or you can't function, please reach out to a doctor or nurse, your midwife, even your pediatrician for your child, so they can, get you evaluated and see what help they can get you. Again, if you feel like your baby blues don't go away after about 2 weeks, the depression gets more and more intense. If the symptoms of depression begin within a year of delivery and last more than 2 weeks, if it's difficult for you to work or to get things done at home, you can't care for yourself or your baby, or you have thoughts of hurting yourself or the baby, please call someone like a SAP. Because again, those were symptoms. Those were my main key symptoms that kind of just started flagging with me that, okay, I would not be able to take care of myself. Like my mom used to come and sit with me during the daytime while my husband was at work. And while the child, our teenager was at school, it was just me and the babies at home by ourselves. So some days I felt like I couldn't even function. Like if my mother wasn't here, I couldn't get a shower, or, I felt guilty for leaving the baby, um, putting the baby down just to even go and take a bath or just to do any kind of thing for myself. And it's still, some days are still kind of hard to the point that I feel guilty for going to do something as simple as going to take a shower or just putting the baby down or putting the kids, giving the kids to their sibling or giving the kids to their parent or to my husband to take care of them for a second just so I can be able to take care of me. Granted, I take a bath as many times a week as I can and do it when I do. But again, it's always still that guilt for me because, like, okay, I can't even go and do something, to go take care of myself without feeling guilty of taking care of my kids. Um, or it's the days that I get overwhelmed if both the babies are crying, they're both screaming, they need a nap. And I know exactly what it is, but some days it's just those cries can break me down to the point that if it's just been a long day and it's just me, it's scary. And it gets to a point that it's just like, some days I don't want to be a parent. And that's the way that depression will make me feel, is that I don't want to do this right now because everything is overwhelming me. It could be so many things going on. And of course, with the situation with the COVID coming on, the work situation, a lot of things can pile onto you. And it's making my postpartum act up a little bit because I'm trying my best to transition out of some things and into new things. And it's making me uncomfortable and it's making me feel like it's too much. And I feel guilty for making these moves, but trying to do what I can for my family. And that's what postpartum does to me. It tricks me into making me feel like I'm a bad mom. And that's always been my vice, is that I feel like I'm a bad mom when my postpartum kicks in. And my child is almost 9 months now. And I feel so guilty sometimes for just going to do the things that I need to do to take care of me and my self-care. Like my self-care routine that I have with my physician is that I have to make an effort to take a bath or shower alone for 20 minutes. And that's a self-care in itself, is that me taking care of me, doing something like that alone. Like if the kids aren't here, they're usually with my mom during the day if I have to work when I'm working from home, that I take that shower and I make sure that I take care of me and just focus on me cleansing my body and cleansing away what I'm feeling or what's going on in my world. And at least for that moment, I can focus on taking care of me. Not to say that the kids will be running around some days if I'm here and I can take a shower, but I let them run around, or I put them in the walker, put her in the bathroom, let the 2-year-old go watch Spider-Man. But that's still a part of self-care. But my self-care that I have been assigned is to take a bath or take a shower alone. So that means that no kids, no nothing. It's me taking care of me in that moment. And you got to figure out a way to keep yourself grounded in those moments. And that's my grounded moment. As minute as it is, that's it for me. And I always make an effort to at least do that twice a week, is that I get that alone shower. And that's one of my assignments for my therapist, for me to be able to do that. And I still stay to that since we've been working. That is my self-care that I always make sure that I do. It's minute. So whatever it is that you can feel to make you feel grounded, if you need to take a nap for 20 minutes, a clear nap where there's nothing can distract you. If the kids can take a nap, or even when the kids go down for a nap, you go and take a nap too. Don't try to do too much or do everything yourself. Ask your partner for help. Make time to go out, visit your friends, spend time alone with your partner. That stuff is important. I think that was another issue too, that with us and these two kids, the two babies, because our teenager, she can go and do what she wants to do. But it's the feeling that, you lose connection with your partner in this moment sometimes too. That was one thing that I had to work on, that we started implementing, that we would go out on Friday nights and we would go and be a couple. And I felt that my psyche was working a little bit better when we started to work as a couple, of being back together and doing things that we wanted to do together before COVID hit. And Even now, what we try to do if he's not asleep because he works overnight, we have a movie night on Fridays when he's off. And we try to do the best we can to still be with my partner and be with each other because we lose sight of being parents sometimes. But that does work on my postpartum depression when we don't connect in that way. Talk about your feelings with your partner or any family member or your friend who is in your support group when you're close knit, and talk with other mothers so they can learn from your experiences. And I've learned that even throughout this whole journey, that me speaking about my experience helps so many other people, because at first I felt like I was the only person going through what I was going through. And once I found my community, I did not feel so small. I felt like I belonged somewhere. And even though, this infertility journey, I felt like I was put into a sorority or a fraternity that I did not want to be in. But there's so much camaraderie when it comes to this that we support each other to the point that it's astronomical. So you make sure that you find some type of support, and don't make any major life changes right after giving birth. So if you feel like that this is something that might alter things, you don't need any unneeded stress. So don't do it. Sometimes these changes can't be avoided. And when that happens, try to arrange support in helping your new situation ahead of time. Um, and again, how is postpartum depression treated? You can go to therapy, which is what I do. You can get a prescription for it. Me personally, I can't do it because my child still wakes up during the nighttime. And I just feel that, the way sometimes my sleep pattern works, I don't think that I can go through those medications to help me with my sleep, because that was my primary issue with my postpartum, is that I don't sleep as much as I used to. And so that my psychosis of what I go through during the daytime, I can't sleep at night. And if I take that medicine to make me sleep, I don't want to sleep through the night and then I don't hear my child. So I will maybe revisit that when my child starts sleeping through the night, but maybe then I won't need it because maybe then I can start sleeping through the night. Um, what can happen if postpartum does not get treated? Untreated postpartum can affect your ability to parent, so you might not have enough energy. You can have trouble focusing on your baby's needs and your own. You can feel moody, not be able to care for your baby, and you have a higher risk of attempting suicide. And we don't want that. Again, we need to work on reaching out when we're feeling so overwhelmed. And usually that overwhelmed is the beginning of you noticing the depression. And that was what was it for me. The overwhelmed feeling that I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I want to leave it all alone, or I want to go off somewhere and I don't want to bring my kids with me. I just want to just be me again. So when you start identifying that and you become self-aware, that's how you can start noticing when you have these symptoms of your postpartum depression. Um, so I want to leave that with you. So if you do have any signs or you have anybody in your life who is showing these signs to you, see if you can get them some help, or at least be an ear for them, because that's all that they're really wanting, is someone to help, someone to listen. And if somebody would have told me that this postpartum would be in the degree of what I have now, I would have started, working on a lot of stuff prior to this. But I did not think that my postpartum would get this bad. And I didn't think that it would last this long, but I'm still here. So I will leave you with this, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys next week. Peace out.